Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So today, what we're going to do is we'll just take the example that we worked out in the last video about creating a super simple traffic light on the Raspberry Pi Pico, and we're going to actually make it work on the real hardware. If you have not seen that video yet, I do recommend you review the Intro to Python Part 1 and Part 2 before going through this video. This is just going to be more of a demonstrating version. I will put a link to those videos in the description and here as well. All right, so let's get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the project that we started a few videos ago, where we built this 3 LEDs connected to the Raspberry Pi on the simulator. We're going to build on top of that. So let me share my screen. And here is that project that we worked on a few videos ago, where we basically had these LEDs all flash together at the same time, just to refresh your memory. This is what we implemented last time. Of course, traffic lights don't work like this, so we're actually going to make it work as a proper traffic light in this video. So I'm going to stop the simulation. This is what we did last time. We don't need that anymore. We're going to get rid of that. Instead of that, we are going to create a new file called trafficlight.py. Of course, this is in the simulator. We're going to do the same thing in the actual hardware as well. Now, what are we doing in trafficlight.py? We're basically going to put in the code that we worked out last time. So I'm just going to copy the code from the slides, and hopefully none of the formatting comes in with it. So here is the first slide. Let's go to the next slide where we define a couple more of the methods. Here is the second one. And there's going to be a third slide with a couple more methods. And while doing this, we may run into some errors. Last time, of course, we did not look at the errors, or we just showed a slide. And then we will see how we fix those errors. Now, obviously, there could be the main errors that could happen when you're copying and pasting code is that if the code does not line up properly, Python will complain that, if you remember that the code has to have a specific tab level. So I'm expecting some of that to happen here. All right, so copied all that in here. Now in main.py, we are going to put in the part where we run the traffic light. Okay, so there. So let's save that and let's run and see what errors we get. The simulator will also show us errors just like anything else. So main.py right away, it says line 7, there is an error, but we know what this error is about. It says traffic light isn't defined because, this is the main.py and we are trying to access traffic light. We haven't told Python where it comes from. So we will use the import statement and say from traffic light import star. So that is going to import everything that's defined in this trafficlight.py file. All right, so we save this and run again. And there is more errors, and here is the error that I was talking about. See, it says line 18 on trafficlight.py. Let's take a look at that line. And here is line 18. Strange, it's complaining about this line, but it's basically saying that indentation error, unindent does not match any indent level. That's not a very helpful error. But the nice thing is that if you are working with a with an IDE, these types of things should not happen. And if they do, there is usually an automatic formatting unfortunately, the simulator does not have that. So we kind of have to manually do this, which is not going to be fun, but let's at least remove all of the tabs, and then I will actually do the tabbing properly so you know what happens. So I removed all the tabs right now. So everything starts from the beginning. We know that here is the colon. So everything after that needs to be tabbed one level over, right? So I just hit the tab button. So everything went one level over. Now these guys should be tabbed another level because here is another colon. So this needs to be another tab over. And that's the same thing for the stop method and the caution method and the go method and the operate method. So now we should all be correctly tabbed over. So you see, even in the simulator, it does kind of help you through expanding and contracting the different blocks. And as long as the simulator is able to identify these blocks, it should not give you any error messages. So let's save this and see if the error message goes away. So we're going to run this. All right, looks like the error message went away. And of course, now it's saying that it's running red, yellow, green, but nothing is turning on here, right? But that's okay. And now we can kind of see why this is not happening. And you, as you see the output, you will know why this is happening, because in our copied and pasted code, we were using the red pin on pin 17, yellow on 27, and green on 22. Well, in this one, red is on pin 6, yellow is on pin 7, and green is on pin 8. So obviously they're not the right pins. So let's stop that and fix that code. So we will go to main and see here red, yellow, and green. So red needs to be on pin 6. So we'll change 17 to 6. Yellow is pin 7. We'll change that to 7. And green is pin 8. And we'll change that to 8. All right. One last time, we save and run. And there you go. Now it's saying red. And it should be green for 5 seconds, then yellow for 2 seconds, and then red. Yellow, red. Just like a traffic light. So there is our working traffic light. Now, just to demonstrate one more thing, remember we were using the default values for the green times, yellow times, and red times, but we can actually change those. So instead of just operate with the default values, we could say G time equals maybe 4 seconds, Y time equals 1 second, and R time equals 3 seconds, something like that, right? So that way we're not using the defaults, we're doing our own. So now we will save this and run. Now you will see green goes on for 4 seconds, and then yellow should be only 1, and then it goes straight to red. So that's how you can easily change using the parameter, how that works. Okay, well, now that this is working, let's actually make this work on the real hardware, right? So that's where the real fun comes in, right? So let me connect the hardware. Yes. So there is my my little box of goodies. So what we're going to need to do is fire up Tawny. And here comes Tani, and notice that Tani already connected with my microcontroller. And how do you know that? It says on the bottom right corner that it is connected to the board Raspberry Pi Pico. So we're good to go there. But of course, we need to copy the main.py and um, the traffic light.py, right? So first, what we are going to do is we're going to put these files locally. And because as you can see, I already have stuff in my Raspberry Pi Pico, and I don't want to get rid of them completely right now. So you will continue to see some of these. If any of you are following along with your own Raspberry Pi Pico, you probably are seeing an empty window. Remember, if you do not see these files, all you have to do is go in the menu and say View Files, and these windows will appear with whatever your project window is. This is your local project. So what we're first going to do is we're going to go to the simulator, take our main program, which is this one, and we will go to Tawny, and we're going to save this. We'll save it in this computer first. Notice that from Thani, you can save it to your own computer or to the Pico directly. And we will call this main.py. And now it shows up here. Okay, let's do one more. We will create a new file. And this time we're going to paste the traffic light class. And let's copy that. And we're going to paste that in here. Again, this computer, and we will call this one traffic light.py. Okay. All right. Now, a couple of things to remember that if I try to run it, technically, a lot of things, if all your code is in one file, you can actually run it from your local computer and it will run on the Raspberry Pi. So technically, I should be able to just click on this and run it. But obviously, we are running into the issue. It says the no module named traffic light. And the reason behind that is that although traffic light is in the local computer, when you're running it from Tawny, this is actually running on the Raspberry Pi Pico because that's what we have connected to. So if you try to run it, it's going to try to load the traffic light module from Raspberry Pi Pico, which doesn't exist there. So one thing that you could do is you could just right click on the module that wasn't there, and I can say upload to / that's the root folder in the Raspberry Pi Pico. And now you will see there is traffic light.py right there. So now it is showing up properly. Okay, now if I run our main.py from Tawny, now notice that our green, yellow, red is functioning as you expect on the hardware. There is your green, yellow, red, and just like as usual. So that's basically how you can run an application from your computer on the Raspberry Pi. And if I copied the main over as well, it will basically replace, there is already a main in here. And I can replace this. So let me show you how that would work. And let me just upload this over. One problem when you have something already running and you try to upload something to the Pico is not designed to do a lot of things at once. So this is not going to work. So I'm going to cancel that. And what I'm going to do is notice that our application stopped. And now I can upload this, and this is going to say that, yeah, I'm going to overwrite the file. And I say yes. And now my main.py got overwritten in here. Now what you would notice is that if I unplug the Pico, okay, I unplugged the Pico, so Thani is now saying the Pico is unplugged. And now this time I'm not going to connect it to my computer. I'm just going to use my battery connector here and connect it to the battery. But notice that our traffic light is now running on the hardware without being connected to any computer at all. Right? So that's basically how once you copy the main.py over to your Raspberry Pi Pico, it's always going to run directly on the Pico without having to be tethered to your computer. So that's how you put an application on your Raspberry Pi. It was a super simple application, but we're going to build on it and build much more fun, much nicer applications in the future. Hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next video.